Hey gang, it's another gorgeous day, March in Jackson Hole. It's about 30 degrees, but it feels a little colder than that. We got a little breeze and a little haze clouds, so kind of was expecting it to feel a little warmer than the 30 degrees that it is. But I am parked and getting mentally ready for my hard run, and we've got a lot of traffic, so you know what? I think I'm gonna go inside the truck so it's not so noisy for a quick chat. All right, this is better. So these are one of those days, one of these workouts where you just got to get up mentally. It's going to be hard. I'm going to start doing longer hill repeats. Up to this point, I've been doing kind of shorter intervals, hills, because of the snow and lack of long climbs. But now, as things start to melt out, I'm able to start getting a little bit longer climbs in, and more importantly, want to start getting ready for when trails open up and the longer climbs hit in May. So today's kind of the first day of longer hill repeats, and by that I mean they're going to be just under about 5 minutes in length. I've got a little over a mile gradual climb warm-up, and then I'm going to hit a very, very steep hill. It's going to be road, and to give you a perspective, and I'll take you up it, but we're looking at a length of 560 meters in length of the hill, with 177 feet of climbing within that 560 meters. So to put that in a perspective, that's just over 500 feet of climbing average per mile if you were to put this out into a mile distance. So again, 560 meters in length, 177 feet of climbing within that 560. Put that into perspective, most easy rolling trail ultras average about 100 to 200 feet gain per mile. Some of the European ultras will get up to 300 to 400 feet per mile. The Olympic trials in Atlanta last week was a very hilly course. They averaged 1,300 feet for the 26 miles. And I'm going to be doing about 500 meters in 177 feet. So very steep. So I'm going to kind of mentally get up for this. It's going to hurt. I'm going to do, like I said, these are just a little under 5 minutes. So my plan is to kind of do the first 2 minutes at threshold, just kind of building, getting comfortable. And then that last three minutes or so is going to be at VO2 max wattage. So I'm going to run for wattage because of the hill, and it's just a good black and white measurement for me to kind of get the intensity I need. So which is essentially a VO2 max just above threshold type of workout. So, all right, so I'm gonna get ready. But as always, my shoe of choice today, I wasn't sure since this is going to be on road and things are starting to melt out and we're going to get rather high. I wasn't quite sure what the conditions were going to be. I'm anticipating lots of loose gravel, lots of loose pebbles, and maybe even a little ice. So I actually picked the Innovate Trail Talon, which is a trail shoe, very low to the ground, very low drop, 4 mil drop, really minimal, almost too harsh for normal flat running on the road. But since I'm going to be going up, I like the feel of the ground, and it's a real minimal feel, but really, really grippy, nice sticky rubber. And it'll allow me to kind of have that good grip on loose gravel on the pavement on the road, and also help me come down on my rest interval nice and easy and not slipping too much that I normally do with road shoes. So that's the shoe of choice today. After the workout, I've got a good one for you today. We're going to really talk about run mastery and seeing running as a craft, as your craft. And what I feel, what I believe is the most crucial and most important aspect of honing your craft, honing your running craft, and mastering running that affects strength, longevity, performance, tightness, mobility, how you feel, everything that goes into what we want as runners. We're going to talk about this one key aspect that we can do to, again, hone and see running as our craft and master running. Okay, so it's going to be a real good one. I got to get these hill repeats over with though, so it's going to hurt. All right, let's go. All right, nice little warm up. Feeling nice. You can see, got the north side of the road versus the brown south side. It's amazing what the sun can melt. And as long as the sun's out facing one direction, it'll melt it out. So basically have spring on one side, winter on the other side. And see what I tell you, nice and sandy, nice and pebbly. Good choice of shoes. We're headed up there to the hills. Let's go. Feeling okay. It's nice to be in the sun, but legs are kind of feeling the week, feeling the track work, but they'll be okay by the time I'm done warming up. Nice and easy. Okay, there's our climb. We're gonna start down here and head right up in top of those trees and the top of that barn. Let's do it. A little bit more of a warm up first though. Almost there. This is the Game Creek trailhead that I run in during the winter and summer, and where they groom for Nordic skiing. I just wanted to check out trail conditions real quick. I can't imagine it's too great, but it might be pretty awesome. So you can see the corduroy. Yeah, it's probably be good for Nordic, but too slick, a little too loose for running right now. It's pretty much the winter snow running trail season is over. On to March, on to May with our trail system. So a lot of road, a lot of track this spring before May and the trails open up. So all right, hills right over here, a little nature break, and we're gonna hit it. All right, I'm ready. So I'm gonna take this first one really conservative. A big mistake a lot of runners make, and especially doing intervals at the track or something like this, is that they kind of make those first few too hard because they're fresh, and then they have diminishing returns for the last few. So I want to avoid that. This is the first time this year, and I'm really going to be conservative. Use this first one as a warm-up and take you through the course, and then I'm going to hit maybe 3 more head on, full on, and accomplishing my goal. So this is the start of the hill, and I'm going to put you on time warp so I can record the full 5 minutes, but it'll speed it up and you'll only see about 30 seconds of the complete course. So I'm going to do that, and here we go. All right, not too bad. The crazy thing about having grade this steep is that almost kind of running it as easy as you can as you're accomplishing the watts I need to. So it didn't feel too bad the first one. You can kind of see, it's hard to get a perspective, but we came from way down there. Can't even see the road, so steep. So all right, I'm gonna put the camera away so I can focus. This is a mantra run. My mantra today is, this is what I want because this is the strength I want.
I like it here because they have some nice flags for finish line. They're always there every year. The flags are here. It's my official foray into spring, and that was number 2. So since these are repeats, I have the same amount of descent as the ascent. So I'm keeping my rest interval in between each really easy, focusing on forefoot strike, so I can actually, even though it's easy, I'm getting recovery cardiovascularly. I'm able to train that eccentric strength work that we've talked about in the last a lot of the videos. So go review those. But again, this is steep enough where I have to run easy. Anything faster, I would be heel striking. So I don't want to practice that. Landing on my forefoot to heel, good eccentric training, landing. And I'm getting my recovery. The key with a workout like this, a VO2 max type of workout, is I want to get essentially equal rest. So if these are just under 5-minute work intervals, my descent and my rest interval is also that same amount of time. So I'm just taking my time down, and I actually can even find some dirt. You can see I made a good shoe choice. A lot of junk on the side of the road, so it's nice and grippy coming down. But yeah, there's some dirt. I haven't been on dirt in a long time. All right, 2 down. All right, it's number 3. I've got one more. I'm doing 5 today, or I'm sorry, 4 including the warm-up. As I do more, I'll increase it to 5 to 6. On these VO2 max type of workouts, these are above threshold, so you're going to notice a change in your breathing when you're doing something this hard. So I employ the breathing technique of taking 2 breaths in and 1 out as I'm running up. And that helps keep me focused, gets into the rhythm, and it also feels like I'm kind of throwing oxygen quicker into my lungs. So it's 2 in, 1 out. And I'll match my 2 breaths in with each footstep. So 1 in, left. The second one in, right foot. Back and forth like that. Okay? So again, it keeps me focused and keeps me hyper aware, which is really what we're going to talk about in a little bit. Okay. All right. One more. Number 4 breathing. Whew. I just realized I'm have you pointed in the sun on my downhill, so I'm probably black right now with backlit to walk backwards. I'm gonna stay here while I recover. All right, that was number 4. I would classify this as a good workout, not a great workout. I'm tired, I feel the week, I feel all the new things I'm doing now that I'm moving into the next phase. Doing things a little bit differently this year. Normally over winter, I do a lot of snow hill running on trail and get a lot of climbing in actually. And for 2 reasons, I chose that I'm gonna do something different this year. And secondly, the conditions weren't conducive to doing a lot of what I'm used to. So that plan and that decision kind of worked out. I did a lot more volume on flat terrain. So I expect that my strength endurance is just not going to be there. And that's kind of what it felt like today. And in a workout like this, it's really important to assess how you feel, but not judge how you feel. And what I mean by that is I tell my athletes in a hard workout, I might be commenting after I review their workout of the day, and they have made me comments, maybe sometimes negative comments, and then I look at the workout and they executed it well, but their negative content or their negative comments were reflective of how they felt, and therefore that created judgment and negative talk. Okay, so it's important to assess how you feel. It's okay to be tired. I expect to be tired today, but was I able to perform? Yes, I nailed the workout. So regardless of how I felt, I achieved the purpose. And that's what I mean by assess, allow yourself success. Okay, don't judge. Very, 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 very important to kind of go forward and not get into the vicious cycle of negative talk. So again, assess, but don't judge. All right. Whew. I'm headed down, last one, and stay tuned. We got a great talk coming. Can't wait for you to hear about my trip to India last year. This time last year, I was just returning from a 2-week trip to India, Bangalore, India to be specific. I was doing a 2-city speaking tour, promoting my book, but also just giving my normal talk about strength, form, run training, and training the brain. And we had, I don't know, probably 75, 100 people who showed up. And India is just booming with running, similar to a lot of other places, but there's just such a great enthusiasm for learning how to run, running for the first time, doing races, doing ultras. So I was there as guest of the Mulnet Ultra and their project, what they're calling Beyond 42, which they're trying to promote their race, their ultra race, to help people go beyond 42K and get off the roads and run trails. So I was their guest, and this speaking tour was aimed at educating runners who want to just go beyond 42. And the second week, I also did a 3-day camp for coaches. In a remote, really cool resort area right by a river. We all had kind of like, it was kind of glamping, where they had the manufactured kind of soft tents put up with the hard concrete floor. So it was really nice. And we brought coaches in from all over India. Some people traveled a whole day just to get to the camp and spend 3 days learning. I kind of focused mostly on run form and what I call strength running. And again, if you're familiar with this channel, you hear me talk about strength running all the time and how we can use running as our primary mode of strength training, and how it's kind of the most important type, today being one of them. Anyways, and on our part of our non-camp, non-speaking days, we traveled around, and a couple days we went to the Mulnet Ultra race course, which was at that point was on a coffee plantation, and it was private land, and they partnered with the coffee plantation to hold this race. And essentially we're running trails all in and out of this coffee plantation that sold coffee to all of India. So it was really cool. And it was here that I witnessed probably the most amazing athletic feat I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot. I'm going to the Olympic trials in June in Eugene, Oregon, and I'll see more, hopefully more great feats there. But through my years, I've seen a lot of great athletes. I live in Jackson. There's amazing, world-class skiers and climbers and mountaineers here. So I see all types of athletic feats, and this was just truly amazing. We were on one of the trails on the little road in the middle of this coffee plantation, and we came upon this little group of workers that were working for the plantation. And it was their job to prune the canopy trees that were overhanging the coffee plants. And the reason they have to do this, they have to prune the limbs of the trees so some sunlight can get in, but not too much. And so they're going throughout this whole plantation and pruning these trees. And if you can visualize this, these trees, I look up like this. They're about, I don't know, a foot in diameter, but there's like lodgepole, goes straight up, super high. You have to crank your neck to see the top of them. And here's what happened. We came upon this guy who had a machete. Wow. Sure, man. Wow, that's crazy. How heavy. Wow. He's been 10 years. 10 years? He's been doing this. Yeah. Art. And this is the first time we witnessed. So how do they get up into these trees? They have to climb up these trees. No ropes, no aid, a machete tied to the back of their pants, and they're climbing hand and foot like a monkey up these trees. It was amazing. And then as I focused on this one guy and watching him start and go up, I panned around and I noticed there was like 5, 6, 7 climbers in all these trees chopping limbs down. You could just see a limb just start to fall. And it was amazing. And watching these guys climb these trees with just their hands and their feet and they're barefoot. Okay, this was just, I was just blown away. And it got me thinking about what I want to talk about today, of how important awareness is for athleticism. Is that I believe it's the #1 trait we need as all athletes to be as elite as we can be. It takes that awareness. And where this becomes super important with runners is having the awareness of how we strike the ground, and more important maybe, of having awareness of how we use our feet as we strike the ground. You know, we know that with each footfall and each landing when we run, we have 3 to 4 times our body weight in force into the ground. Okay, so that requires a lot of stability. And our first line of stability is our feet, is our big toe, is our arch. And if we're not getting that first line of stability, everything else goes awry. Everything else gets out of whack, up through our calves, through our knee, to our hip. Everything gets out of whack. Or you can land well, have good awareness of how you're using your feet and your arch, and train it so everything stays in equilibrium. Okay, our muscles fire in the appropriate way. We have that stress reflex. We have antagonist muscles working for and against each other that's appropriate, that takes away tightness, that uses our body and our muscles in an appropriate way so we don't get tight. Okay, and this is where all of this comes into longevity. Okay, the longer we use our body well, the longer it's going to feel good. We can use the awareness of how we use our feet to build strength. Okay, it's creating that equilibrium. Treating and firing our muscles in an appropriate way is the appropriate type of strength that we can have for getting stronger, getting more powerful, getting faster, and most importantly, I hope for everybody, having longevity in running, being able to run, feeling good for as long as we want to. Okay, and we can feel good. We don't have to be tight. We don't have to have tight hip flexors and IT band and all this. We need a certain amount of tightness because we're powerful and strong and forceful and fast, but we don't want to be tight in a way that we lose mobility. Okay, and it all starts with the feet. So the point of this is that athleticism is awareness. And I challenge you to start
being aware of what I say. I tell my athletes at camp, run with your feet, not your shoes. That doesn't mean take your shoes off. That just means be aware, like the climber in the tree, of where he's putting each handhold and each foothold to climb that tree. He has to climb 12 of those every day. That's what they average, 12 trees a day. Hyper vigilant as far as being aware of what the body has to do. Climbers have the same thing. They're using their hands because that's their lifeline. Our lifeline for runners is our feet. So have the awareness of using your feet, not your shoes. And what I mean by that is just have the mindset of using your feet while you run. Have the mindset of landing on your forefoot to heel. Feel the foot engaged. Feel the arch engaged. Have awareness around your foot. Don't just zone out, okay? Being in the zone, or more importantly, being in a flow state of what I call flow state, where we can manipulate flow state, whereas the zone is more of a happenstance. So like through awareness, we can create the flow state. And that's the difference between having associated thinking, where we're always monitoring how we're feeling. We're always monitoring our foot strike, our feet, our form, how we're feeling, our breathing. We talked about that today. Versus disassociated thinking, where we try to block out how we're feeling. Things get hard, we try to distract ourselves. We throw the music on. We talk with a friend. We lose all sorts of awareness of what our feet are doing, what our body's doing. We want to have associated thinking to be elite, and we all can be elite. Okay, so next time out, just try it. Just again, it's not. There's not a right and wrong way to do it, other than just saying, I'm going to have awareness of my body. I'm going to have awareness of how I'm using my feet. Simple way to do it before you start out, before you throw the shoes and socks on. Stand barefoot, balance on one foot, and just move around and shift your body as you balance. And feel your foot have to stabilize. Feel that big toe as you lean forward and side to side, and that arch, and how everything engages. That's what we want every time we strike the ground. So have that awareness once you throw the shoes on. And every so often, like I chose today, I've got a real minimal pair of shoe on so I can really feel the ground running up these hills, okay? If you wear pillowy shoes, the big stack height shoes, every now and then throw on a pair of minimal shoes so you can start to feel the ground. Use it as strength training, okay? All right, well, got a cool down. I came up here to get out of the traffic. Got skiers rolling in, but I'm gonna head down the hill, get a nice cool down in, and head home. So thanks again. It was a long one. Hope you thought it was worth it, and you can be elite. Let's do it. See ya.